This morning with us, we have Carlos Davis. Carlos is the owner of Stand and Deliver LLC, which is a professional development firm based in Charlotte. He specializes in speaking, coaching, and event management. He has done numerous talks on entrepreneurship, professional networking, and various topics throughout parts of the country. Carlos is also a published author and has recently released his book, Open Says Me. It's a book on professional networking to get all you want in your career. Aside from his successful ventures, he also is a professor at UNC Charlotte. And says his greatest accomplishment is that of a devoted husband to his wife, April, and a father to his sons, Jordan and Seth. Join me in welcoming Carlos Davis.
Has the coffee not kicked in? We've been doing this for the last hour. The coffee, unless you're drinking decaf, should have kicked in. The itis of the food, of the breakfast, should have surpassed. From an awesome organization such as this, I thought there would be a little bit more energy. So let's try this once again. Good morning! Okay, relax and take notes because there will be a test afterwards. You didn't know that, did you? Here's the good news. It's a test of life. And the test of life is an open book test. So anytime you think you can't pass the test of life, look back in your notes because you can always pass the test of life with your notes. I need a volunteer. I want someone who knows how to network. Anybody feel they know how to network? Oh, somebody is getting called out. Come on up, brother. She did it. Blame her, man. Blame. Look, I saw the fingers. Look, there's another one. Come on up, sir. Give him a round of applause. Hey, look, blame your colleague. Blame your colleagues. Wait, what's your name, man?
My name's Kevin.
Kevin, give Kevin a round of applause.
I'm just a husband of an attendee.
Oh, okay. So we have a husband of an attendee. So what we're going to do is, let's just say you work for a hospital. Let's just say what does your wife do?
She is a public relations specialist at Wayne Memorial Hospital. She's the one who presented first.
Yes. So you are her. And let's just say we're at a chamber event. You are her, you are you in her position representing the hospital, and I'm just a business person, and we're networking. Go.
Yeah, I'm Kevin. Nice to meet you.
Hey, how you doing, Carlos?
What are you good at?
What am I good at? Oh, let's see. I'm good at football because I played for numerous years. I'm good at business, and I love my kids.
Man, so what kind of football? Where did you play at?
I actually played for the University of Louisiana Monroe, and I played semi-pro up in Arkansas.
Really? Where did you major in?
I majored in computer information systems.
Really?
Yeah.
So computer and leadership or organizational kind of stuff, how'd you get that tied in together?
It was by accident. I was kind of stuck in my job, and I liked IT, but I wasn't liking where my organization was going, so I actually kind of spreaded my wings and said, hey, I've got some leadership things in me, and I want to actually empower people. I just want to sit behind a computer.
Yeah, that's cool. So you're pretty passionate about what you do?
I am.
How can I find out more information about this?
Actually, you can go to www.istandanddeliver.com. You can find more information.
Cool, man. Nice to meet you, Carlos.
Give him a round of applause. Have you read my book? I'm serious. Have you read my book? That was excellent. I've had people in other organizations, they get up and they say, are we done? I kid you not. I get that. And I understand. Because in every industry, regardless of the industry, it can be difficult to do what we just did. It's a skill that unfortunately is not taught in school. I'm one of those performers that it should be taught in school, but unfortunately, it's one of those opportunities, one of those skills that you just have to catch, kind of like it's like a cold. So a question, by show of hands, has any of you had difficulty getting patient or job leads? Besides me. Okay, so just two. So everybody, all of y'all are good at getting patients in your hospital, leads. I can get off stage. Everybody good? Everybody good? Just saying. Felt uncomfortable at networking events. Besides me. felt awkward asking for any type of referral. Okay, we're in the right place. So there are a lot of professional networking myths out there. I'm only going to go over a few. How many of you have heard this? I just need the internet. If I just put all of my stuff on the internet, social media, all the money's going to come rolling in. Everybody's going to know about our hospital, about our practice. We're all good. Anybody heard that? Just hand out a lot of business cards. It's all about the numbers. So if I hand out enough cards about what we do, hey, we're going to be in the money. And then finally, sell. Just sell the practice. Just sell it, and we will get everything that we need. Have we heard this? Have we heard this in circles before? So let me tell you my story. I graduated college, and I can remember getting my first IT job. My parents were so thrilled. My mom was crying, basically crying and happy that I was getting out of the house. And I'll never forget what my dad said to me. He said, "Son, I'm so proud of you. You've achieved this goal. You got your first job. I want you to move up the corporate ladder. But in the meantime, as you're moving up, in order to move up, you need to network." I said, okay. I don't know what networking is. What is networking? My dad had then this deer in the headlights look and said, "Fortunately, son, I don't know that answer. I can't tell you how to do that." So I said, So the man that I've looked up to all of my years gives me this advice, but he can't tell me. It's the first time he couldn't tell me how to do something. I said, okay. So I started my job. I ended up getting, of course, my supervisor, my mentor, having those meetings. Had my first meeting with my manager, kind of telling me the ropes, how to do certain things within the company. And of course, he said, "Carlos, of course, if you're going to move up the corporate ladder, you're going to need a network around here." I said, "That's the second time I've heard that." I said, "All right, sir, I get that. I'm willing to do that. How do I do it?" Blank stare and just like, I can't tell you that. That's just what my director, my VP, my CIO says we need to tell you all. And I said, "So you're going to tell me again, somebody's going to tell me again some advice, but not tell me how to do it, not show me how to do it." I said, okay. So then I started some entrepreneurial ventures. I ended up getting a business mentor showing me all about accounting, marketing, all of this stuff that I needed to succeed as an entrepreneur. And guess what tip that my mentor gave me? Networking. And what was my next question? And what was the response? I was like, I don't understand. These three brilliant people in my life that were supposed to get me where I want to go, but they can't tell me how to get there. So I said, all right, I guess I'm just going to have to go at it alone and just find somebody. Just start finding out how to network. So I figured out in listening to people looking at articles that I needed technology. I was going to use technology. So first I was this guy. Now keep in mind, when I started my career, there was no Facebook, there was no LinkedIn, heck, there was no MySpace. So then a colleague of mine said, well, there's some networking events that go on in the city, there's some chamber events, why don't you just hand out some business cards and see what happens? So then I became this guy. And I went from networking event to networking event, just, how you doing, 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 how you doing. Go home, sit by the phone, and no one called me. And I said, there's got to be more to this. The internet has not gotten me anything. Handing out these business cards haven't given me anything. So then I come across these fine suit guys at these events. They say, Carlos, just tell them about yourself, man. Tell them how great you are, man. Wear you a couple nice suits. Just tell them how great you are. And I promise you, buddy, make sure you do this. You're going to get business. You're going to get job leads. So I went from event to event, passing out cards, but now also telling everybody how great I was, telling everyone why they should hire me, why they should buy my product, why they should hire my company. Me, why you should hire me. And it got to the point where people were starting to get annoyed because that's all I was talking about. All I was talking about me, I was just talking about my company, just how what I needed was the most important thing in this world. And I turned into this guy. If you have a relative that's a car salesman, please don't be offended. But this is the brand that I had created for myself, ladies and gentlemen. And you know what? I didn't care. All I cared about was getting the jobs that I wanted, getting the business that I wanted. I did not care. So I kept doing it. I would get little things here, little things there. But after a period of time, it just shut off. So I figured, and then the guys in the suits would just keep doing more of it. And I kept doing more of it and more of it and more of it. Next thing you know, as soon as I would walk into a room of a networking event, people would run. You laugh, I kid you not. People would run the other way when they saw me. It took a colleague of mine taking me to the side of events, say, Carlos, look, man, people do not want to do business with you. I'm like, how dare they? Do they not know who I am? Do they not know who Carlos Davis is? They're like, yeah, he's a jerk. And that one statement, after that one statement, I went home. Looked myself in the mirror. And I cried. Because at the end of the day, that's not who I wanted to be. In my heart of hearts, all I wanted to be was a resource. In my heart of hearts, all I wanted to do was just help people. I was looking at the suits that I was wearing and how flashy and just thinking back to all the things that I've said to people and how obnoxious and rude I was. And it wasn't a beautiful picture of business. So after looking my ugly self in the mirror, I said to myself, I'm going to change. I'm going to seek out who I need to seek out to be the business person and the networker that I need to be. So I sought out the right business mentors, the right networking mentors. I read books. I became a student of professional networking. And sure enough, I learned that not only my methodology was wrong, but most importantly, my philosophy was wrong. My heart was wrong. And once I was able to marry the right philosophy with the right methodology, everything changed. It was like a dam broke. It was like if the Hoover Dam broke and all the water just came rushing out as far as opportunities coming my way. Job opportunities for my business. I could not sustain it all. All because of the decision that I made to change my methodology, change my philosophy, marry it together, and have a different focus. So who here wants to know the true secret of networking, the true definition of networking? Anybody besides those two in the back? Anybody else besides those two in the back? Ladies and gentlemen, I'm about to share with you this morning the key word that will open any door. If you are looking for a new client, if you're looking for more patients into your practice, this is the word that will open any door. Ladies and gentlemen, professional networking is simply service. Unfortunately, over the years, networking has gathered such a negative connotation because of jerks like me that were doing it wrong for so long. But when I learned from my mentors that true networking is service, that's when it all changed. See, when we think networking, we're thinking, okay, so we've got to get in this many patients by the end of this month. We've got to do this many programs. We've got to have this much money raised. I've got to have this many clients by this time. Me, right? Traditionally, that's what we think of. When networking, should we be, how many people in this room can I bless? Whether it be my service or someone else in my network. It's a total shift in mindset and procedure. Because again, we're totally focused mostly on us when we should be focused on the community. We should be focusing our intentions on serving everybody else. And when I learned that, ladies and gentlemen, I kid you not, If you would have told me I would have become an author, a speaker, a producer of a radio show in Charlotte, North Carolina, 2 times over, I would have called you nuts. Because I was doing it all wrong. I was just so focused on myself. I was so focused on me and less on everybody else. I was missing opportunities that I could help people. But once I found out those opportunities, I knew that if it could be either me or someone in my network that can serve those people. And the opportunities started to flow. So because those opportunities flowed, I had to figure out a way to make sure no one fell through the cracks. So if I was talking to someone, started a great relationship, professional relationship, I needed to know how to stay in contact. Because you could easily get overwhelmed by this person talking to you, this group talking to you, this person wanting you to come talk and things. So I had to figure out the system. I had to create a system to make sure no one fell through the cracks, but make sure everyone was engaged and taken care of. So this is what's called the multi-channel networking system that my company created. And feel free, if you want to take pictures of it, that's fine for your notes. But we had to create this system because we couldn't just pick up the phone and have meetings with people every single day and engage with them. So we utilized technology, free technology, to actually stay engaged with the people that were looking to work with us. So of course, we have you in the middle, which is the engine. You are the engine that drives your social media channels. Of course, we have LinkedIn, we have Twitter, we have Instagram, we have Facebook, Periscope. Who's on Periscope? Raise your hand high if you're on Periscope. If your organization or you is on Periscope. I didn't see them. Raise them high. So it's just 3. I'm going to talk about Periscope later and how you're losing the battle, in a sense, if you're not using Periscope. But we'll talk about that. But most importantly, let's first talk about you. You are the experience. When you're in the community talking about your practice, about your programming, you are the face of the franchise. All right, everybody repeat after me. I am the face of the franchise. I am the face of the franchise. So when you're out in the community, it's not the head of the hospital, it's not the head doctor, it's not the head nurse, it is you. So experience-wise, it is important that you have the right intentions dealing with the community. Because if you is not working, it doesn't matter if your hospital has 1 million Twitter followers, a whole bunch of folks on LinkedIn, Instagram. If your intentions are wrong, then everything else will not work. It's plain and simple. So first, let's talk about you. So let's talk about your brand. Now, we all know that your hospital, your practice, your organization has a brand, right? And you all are the driving forces behind that brand, making sure that that brand is displayed in the community, right? Are we agreement on that? How many of you all know that you yourself have a brand? And you are an extension of that brand you are supporting. There are a lot of definitions of brand. Let me give you our definition of brand. Your brand, whether it be the practice, organization, or yours, is what people say about you and say that you do, and you're not around. I'm going to repeat that. It's what people, the community, say you are and say you do, and you're not around. I want to emphasize the not around part. Because if you are in the presence of, I'm going to use Michael Jordan for example. I love using Michael Jordan. He's one of my favorite players, one of my favorite athletes of all time. If Michael Jordan were here, let's just say I'm Michael Jordan, and I'm here in front of you, and you were to mention what is a part of his brand, like some descriptive words about his brand, or words that describe his brand, what would they be? Somebody give me something. What is it? Athlete. What else? Chicago Bulls. Okay. Nike. Champion. Okay. So, that's what you would say if Michael Jordan was here, right? Since Michael Jordan is not here, we can also talk about divorce. We can talk about how the Hornets have not done as well as they could have. We can talk about how there is long lines and violence when it comes to the purchase of his shoes. Not knocking Michael Jordan. Say that again. That too, yes. Go Heels, yes. Go Heels, yes. Those are all components. But there's a different perspective. There's two sides to every coin of a brand, right? So we have to account for both. So when it comes to you and your brand, make sure that, and I know you all are doing this, make sure that you're identifying and finding out the great things that you all are doing brand-wise, organizational and individually, but also what are you hearing from the community about what's not being done? This side of the coin, what we're not doing, what we could be, we sometimes want to just be like, you know what, no, we're just gonna sweep that under the rug there, and we're just gonna focus on this all great shining rainbow. But this does need to be taken care of. So I want to challenge you all with this. I want to challenge you. This is actually individual, and I will also challenge you to do it organizationally as well in your respective communities. So individually, find about 2 or 3 family, friends, associates. Don't do spouses. Please don't do spouses, because then it's going to be a big argument. I don't want you all calling me saying it's your fault. Now we're arguing. No, don't do spouses. But ask someone close to you that's willing to give you that constructive criticism, and ask them what they feel your brand is. Be prepared to get the good. So let's talk about tools. Who in here has a business card? Who brought business cards? I hope everybody brought a business card. Who has a business card? All right. Thank you. These two will do. Now, the most important thing about networking is recall. How fast can I look at your card and remember who you are? Remember what we talked about. Remember what we discussed. So let's just say I'm here at this conference. I meet Sarah. And let's just say Anya was also in marketing and communication. She has a firm as well. And let's say I meet 2 more. So it's a total of 4. So Sarah has her card. Anya has her card. Somebody else has their card. But the 4th person has a photo. Who's going to get the work first? Who's going to get the first phone call? The one with the picture. All 4 individuals are equally talented. All 4 individuals have equal resumes. But because I can easily recall that person on the card, okay, Sarah, okay, I can't remember what we talked about, Anya, Peter. Okay, Joel. I remember Joel. We were over by the stairway. We were talking about PR marketing within our organizations. He has this firm that can actually do the videography work and actually enhance this. I'm going to give him a call. It's about recall. It is all about recall. Now, I know, unfortunately, if you work for an organization, you can't help that sometimes. I get that. But if at all possible, if there's a way you can change it to where you can include it, do. If it even gets to the point to where you need to make your own cards and your organization allows it, do it. Because that's what's going to make and break who is going to interact with you and work with you in your particular field. Because again, if we're at community events, for those of you that hold events, if you're at community events, your patients, your individuals, they're going to meet a lot of people. And nothing against you, they're going to forget because of the people that they meet throughout the day. Why not make their job easier by helping them remember who you were? Showing that beautiful face, showing that smiling face. Elevator speech. Who has an elevator speech? By a show of hands. Raise your hand high. Raise your hand high. Okay, only a few of you. It's always important when you're dealing with the professional community, whether it be inside your industry or out, to give some type of description about what you do. Have you ever been to one of those, any networking events and, you talk to somebody and like my good man here, he asked me what I do. You get something like, yeah, so I went to the University of Louisiana Monroe. I got a degree in information systems. I work for the largest retailer. I like to fish on the weekends, and I have an interest in the Carolina Panthers. Have you ever met that to where the person is basically giving the life story? Basically the stuff you don't really care to hear about at that moment? Your elevator speech is that quick, concise description of who you are and how great you are and why that person should have lunch with you. So when you have an elevator speech, it's got to be two things. First of all, it's got to be concise. Your elevator speech always has to be concise. So if you have one already, here's how you test it. Find the tallest building in your area. Could be your hospital, it could be wherever it is. Start on the first floor, go up, and start saying your elevator speech. If you've hit the 5th floor and you're still talking, it's too long. Because think about it. Not everybody's going to go from the 1st floor all the way up to the 11th. Not everybody's going to do that. Most times it's like a 3 to 5 floor trip. So that means you've got about 3 to 5 floors to tell someone who you are and what you do and exchange business cards. So it's got to be concise. Next, your elevator speech has to invoke curiosity. Give it to the point to where they want to call you and discuss things with you. So here's my elevator speech, family. Here's the elevator speech. If you had a resource that could positively change you, mind, body, and soul, would you use it? What's your answer? Yes, right? You don't know what I do, but now you're curious to know what I do, right? Elevator speech. All right, everybody smile. Everybody smile at me. Smile at everybody at your table. Turn around and smile. Show what teeth you have, all the teeth that you have. Shake hands if you're close to some folks. Shake hands, smile, laugh, shake hands. Family, do we feel the positive energy being exchanged? Do we feel the energy being exchanged? I see everybody smiling. I see happy faces. Somebody said it hurts. There may be somebody that you're networking with that may have had the crappiest day ever. But if you are willing and able to pass on that positive energy to them, then you may have a new patient. You may have a new contact. You may have a new colleague because you changed the way that they thought about their day and potentially about what inner thought they may have about your organization, if they had anything. One of the biggest questions that I get from clients of mine is, what do I say when I go to networking events, when I go to conferences? What do I talk about? Family, you don't talk about anything. Has anybody heard their grandmother or relative say you have 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason? Ladies and gentlemen, networking is not for the extrovert. You don't have to be an extrovert to network. It's more about listening than it is talking. So the best way you do it is follow my friend's example that he gave and just ask questions. Well, what do I ask questions about? Ask questions around the acronym FORM. Family, occupation, recreation, and motivation. If you start asking the people in your community, if you and your team start going to these community events in your community so you can learn what it is that your community needs as far as healthcare, and you start asking questions around this, I promise you, everything that you need to know about your future client, your future patient, you will find out. And most importantly, they will feel that you care. It's not about how much technology you have. It's not the biggest building that you have. It's about how much you care for that patient and their family. Next thing, give. If you find out that they need a plumber, but you're in healthcare, but you know a plumber, give it. If you know someone that sells real estate, they're new to your area, but you work for the hospital, but you know a great real estate agent that does amazing work, give. Give without expecting anything returned. Give without them you thinking that they will ever visit a program. Give. Because what's going to happen if you give without any expectation of return, they're going to remember you. They're going to look at your card and remember who you work for. And when you have a program, they're going to say, wow, if this individual is willing to do this for me and I'm not sick, what will this hospital, this organization do for me when I am? Exchange information and set a meeting. So make sure you give out your business card. If they want more information on the programs that you do, set some type of informational setting. Have lunch, have coffee, something. Connect with the people in your community. The more you do that, the bigger the brand grows for your organization. Not just your own brand, because they're going to see you, they're going to experience you. But remember, you're an offset of the organization that you're a part of. And most importantly, family, follow up within 24 to 48 hours. This bodes well not just for what you do in the community, but even here, in this setting. A lot of my students, they're actually about to get the doctor to work for me. So what I challenge them to do is say, hey, and now they go to these conferences.
Oh my God. In my assisted living home when I get there. That's my own.
He's quite entertaining.
And I like it.
I must say.
Oh my God, I couldn't believe it.
How many of you all manage the social media for your organization? Anybody in here manage their social media? Raise it high so I can see. Okay, so there are a lot of you. There are a lot of you. Social media is one of the best ways to follow up with your community. But it doesn't mean a hill of beans if you're not giving the community what they want. It's one thing to say, hey, we're doing all of this great stuff. But if it's not what the community wants to see, then you may not get as much traction as you think you should. So let's look at your social media content, ladies and gentlemen. Ask yourself this question. Are you educating or are you selling? And again, you don't have to answer me. You don't have to say, yes, we are. This is for you. So many times on social media and the people that I follow, all I'm getting is, buy this, hire me, buy this, hire me, buy this, hire me. I'm like, I don't need you. Why are you trying to shove this down my throat? Sometimes we may have great content, but it may come across as if we're shoving this down our community's throat. Are we truly educating the community about our programs? Are we truly educating our community about the technology that we have? Are we truly educating our community on the wonderful things that we've done? Are we selling that to them or are we educating them? Are you listening? Again, this is for those of you that do manage the social media sites, but also, is your person actually engaged with the comments that come through? If you're on Facebook, somebody makes a comment, somebody likes it, is somebody reaching out to that person? If there's a retweet on Twitter, is somebody thanking that person for the retweet and asking them how they can be of service? Same thing on Instagram. If someone likes your picture, are we finding out who these people are? Because sometimes we can look at retweets as just a retweet. We can look at a heart on an Instagram as just a heart, a like. A like on Facebook is a like. But you know what they are? They're people. The people that you serve. every day. So why not treat them as such? Now, let me tell you all this. Let me say this. My hat's off to all of you all on the video productions that you all have done. I got a chance to sit in the Wally's last night a little bit, not all of it. But I teared up at some of the videos that I saw. Amazing. So I know you guys know how to do video. But are you using it in the right places? It's good to have it on your website. It's good to have it on YouTube. But is it going out to the community? Are the right pictures being posted? Content. You all know about this stuff. You all are experts. Way better than I am. But also make sure that we're gauging and seeing the engagement that we want to see. If we do one video on Facebook and we're only getting a couple likes, it's not that the video is bad. Is this where it needs to be? So just some things to think about. So here's some follow-up strategies for you guys, real quick. Be human. I love the human aspects of your videos. Oh my gosh. One of the things I loved about your videos was you guys were human. You were transparent. Continue to be human, be transparent with your videos, all of your content. Be silly. Some of the stuff in the videos were silly because sometimes the outside world can think you guys are just so serious that they're like, I can't connect. Know when your community is online. Again, for those of you that are maintaining your social media accounts, are you actually posting when people are looking? Use all forms of storytelling. So don't just have your videos as part of your storytelling, which are amazing. But is your patient whose life was saved on their own social media telling your story about how you all saved his or her life? One thing that I love with our organization and what we do with our organization is we do a lot of contests and we give away stuff because we want to know what the community wants to see of us. So I would challenge each and every one of you all to get the engagement when you all do your surveys and different things. Continue. I know some of you all are doing it, but for those of you who are not, make sure you're doing some contests and giveaways. Bring the people in. Allow them to see that, hey, we're willing to give of ourselves.
All right, so you say you have a situation where you have two colleagues, and one of them is very outgoing, very out there, always, on when they're in a public area, and the other one is very nice and very engaging once you engage that person, but they're not out there as much, so that one really always overshadows the other. How do you help that other person overcome that particular issue when they're in the same space a lot?
The best way to do it is make sure both are following the format. Because remember, outgoing does not necessarily mean a great networker. Case in point, the jerk at one point in time. So as long as you all are on the same page as far as service, the same page is making sure that questions are asked. Because again, you don't have to be a great talker. As long as you remember, I need to ask questions about family, occupation, recreation, and motivation, you will get them talking. And then all it takes then is to just listen. I love doing these talks. I love educating people on and helping them understand how powerful networking can be. So I thank you for your time. I thank you for your attention. I thank you for giving of yourself to me this morning. And I will leave you with this. Success is not you getting to your destination. True success is you helping as many people get to their destination before you even get to yours. I love you all. There's absolutely nothing you can do about it. And I'll see you all at the top. Thank you.
My favorite thing about Carlos's presentation today was the fact that we're so often sitting back thinking the only way to engage a network is via social media, and that it does really take a variety of methods to engage and to do the right things to network appropriately. I think reaching out a bit more, making sure follow-up is timely. I think that's something that we all struggle with, is the follow-up when we do meet people, and making that impression when we first meet people, how we go about doing that, asking questions. I love the presentation today. I would highly recommend Carlos. I found him to be, again, very engaging, very uplifting. I think a lot of the information he shared was something that you can all take home with, even if it's just 2 or 3 things. I found the presentation itself to be fabulous.
I think my favorite part about the presentation was a lot of the tools that you could take away immediately and use today. In fact, I'd like to pull some of that material and do that presentation for my staff, because I think my staff would benefit. There is something I'm already started working on, in fact, that trying to establish and find some of the weaknesses in my own brand, and interview some of my friends and talk to them about what my weaknesses are, and then go to work and sort of re-engineer myself and my brand so that I become a stronger leader for my colleagues. I would strongly recommend Carlos as a presenter, just by virtue of the sheer energy that he brings into the room. He's dynamic, and he's fun to watch.